I want to talk about Cecil the Lion. The reason is that I think both sides are polarized, and neither of them are philosophically and morally correct in the way they're presenting their position. So first, the basic facts are that this dentist from Minnesota paid a lot of money to go hunt big game in an African country, which is totally legal, and I guess he hired these two guards, and he ended up shooting this lion that was quite famous named Cecil. And there's this huge uproar about it, and that is one point, just the perspective of being so worried about a lion on the other end of the world, where a lot of the people in that country say we kill lions all the time because they kill us, when people are being killed by the thousands every day in the Middle East, every week. We got a dozen people being shot and killed every week in Chicago, and there's no outcry about any of that, and so they're worried about this lion in Africa. Okay, so I understand animals are cuddly and lions are majestic and all that, but the perspective, first of all, you have to understand. Now, on the other hand, people say, it's just a lion, what's the big deal? So I wanted to offer a Jewish view of the whole notion of hunting. And again, here, on the people that are making fun of this story, and they say you're a hypocrite if you care about Cecil the Lion, but you still eat meat or wear leather, that in that case you're just paying somebody to do your murdering of the animal, so they charge hypocrisy. And that's not quite true. I want to explain the Jewish position on this, how we try and achieve balance. The whole goal is to love life, to appreciate life, a bias for life. And there is a certain law, and you can always go above the law. And in the Jewish view, eating meat is permissible. Bifnim mishurat adin, which is to go ethically above the law, would be vegetarianism, according to many, that you're deciding not to eat meat. But you don't have to adopt that standard. You're permitted to eat meat. It goes back to the Bible story of Noah, when Noah was cooped up in the ark, and until Noah, before that, the generations were vegetarian. After Noah, God gave permission to Noah to eat meat, but gave him certain rules. We call those rules the 7 laws of the sons of Noah. And one of those rules is no unnecessary harm to animals. Tsar balei chaim, we call it. And that is the Jewish prohibition against hunting. Now, I was a rabbi in Minnesota for a long time, and 10% of the population, adult population of that state, hunts. So 400,000 hunters. And every year I drive Thanksgiving between Chicago and Minnesota. In Thanksgiving time was deer season, and car after car would be loaded with dead deer. And not that those people are bad in any way, but because their culture says hunting is good, and they oftentimes use the meat and the animal. You think about the whole Native American culture was based on killing animals and using all the products. Big game hunting is a little different. You're just, the trophy there is very different. As the trophy, just the goal is to kill the animal and maybe keep the head and display as proof I'm a big man because I killed an animal with a gun or a bow and arrow. But Judaism says there is a big difference between the hunter and then the eating of the meat. And that is because there's several layers between you and the hunter. And the whole goal is to sensitize ourselves to the actual act of killing. Because in towns where there was the kosher slaughterer was usually one guy, and he'd say a bracha after he killed the animal, and people were then not near the blood. They didn't get used to the blood. They didn't get used to the killing, and that was a moral sensitization. Maimonides says the whole purpose of the mitzvot is to sensitize and refine and try and purify the soul as much as possible. And the idea of kashrut, too, is that. Why did God say, don't eat these animals and don't eat these animals, but you can eat these animals, and you got to kill it in this way? Maybe it's better for the animal to kill it in that way, but it's probably, the idea is it's better for us. It's kind of like the mitzvah of the bird's nest in Deuteronomy, where God says that the father, if he was hungry and wants a nest, eggs from a nest, he says to the kid, take the nest, take the eggs, or he does it himself, but make sure the mother bird isn't there. Now, does the mother bird know? Is it really matter to the mother bird that you take? Well, maybe, probably. But it's more important for us to feel that the mother bird would care, to teach us sensitivity. And by all of these additional rules, you got to kill the animal this way. You can't kill that animal. You can only kill that animal. You have to drain the blood. You have to say blessings. God is saying to us, okay, you want to eat meat? I'm not so crazy about this. But if you're going to do it, then I want you to be as removed from the blood and the act as possible to make it as holy as possible. And that's why the people that are saying you're a hypocrite if you complain about Cecil the Lion and yet you eat meat or wear leather clothing, that's not completely accurate. It's not accurate at all. There's a huge gradation here. And the whole goal is keeping as far removed from the actual death as you can. And so, yes, veganism is good. There's fruitarians, people that say, I don't eat anything that I have to kill. Just if a fruit falls from a tree, I'll eat it. All the way to vegetarians, to people that eat meat, to hunters. And so the Judaism draws the line at saying we don't hunt. We kill animals. We train certain people to kill animals. Those people kill them. They drain the blood. Only certain animals, domestic animals, they say blessings. By the time it comes to you, you're far removed from the killing. And that's why historically the Jewish people have only used violence when we had to survive and have not become a barbaric culture. Not that hunters are barbaric, but you can see how the closer you get to murder, the next step then is killing human beings, the next step is eating human beings. That's why we have to achieve some balance and understanding why this powerful story of Cecil the Lion took hold, and really where we draw the difference. And basically I wanted to just say that the position that you're a hypocrite if you eat meat but still are upset about Cecil the Lion isn't true. But the larger point is putting Cecil the Lion in perspective of the horrors that exist today. We've got this Iranian deal where the President of the United States is giving $150 billion to the world's worst terrorist nation, which you have terrorism everywhere all at once. We don't limit their ability to buy ICBMs to shoot missiles at the United States. And we guarantee them several different pathways to nuclear bombs. That's the issue of the day, not a dead lion. Shalom.